أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس واتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد إن خير الحديث كتاب الله خير الهدي هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أما بعد يقول الله عز وجل يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين بالقسط شهداء لله ولو على أنفسكم أو الوالدين والأقربين أن يكون غنيا أو فقيرا فالله أولى بهما فلا تتبعوا الهوى أن تعدلوا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this ayah in Surah Nisa, Surah number 4, verse number 135. When Allah Azza wa Jal addressed the believer, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, so the believers, Muslims, should be giving an attentive ear to it. God, the Lord of the world, is calling upon you. It is drawing attention, so we should have an attentive ear to Allah, the Lord of the world. He says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu qawwamina bil qist shuhada'a lillah wala ala anfusikum. Allah says, stand up for justice for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though it is against your own self. This is a phenomenal statement. This is a phenomenal statement. A similar ayat came in Surah An-Nahl, Surah number 16, verse number 90. Allah said to the believers again, Allah said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the believers for adl wal ihsan. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adl wal ihsan. Allah also commanded you for justice. But in addition to that, He wanted something else also. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu has stated that, Ibn Jarir al-Tabari rahimahullah reported that he said radiallahu anhu, this is the most comprehensive verse in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the most comprehensive verse in the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. He commanded that Inna Allah ya'muru bil adl wal ihsan. Allah is commanded to do justice. In addition to that, show kindness, extend kindness to others. Justice is a requirement, kindness is extra. As يقول الله عز وجل هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان. If you do good, the reward could be nothing but good. But word ihsan is extremely comprehensive and the detailed discussion will take hours. However, it is injustice if I don't say the definition of it. In hadith of Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, it came, أخبرني عن الإحسان. Inform me about what ihsan is. It is أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. You worship Allah, you live daily life as if that you are seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. He's at your presence. But it is fact that you don't see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, He sees you all the time. So when He sees you all the time, you should be cautious in your daily activities, that what you do, what you don't, because He is watching over you. Allah said, Asma'u wa ara. I hear and I see. So there is no way to escape from Him. He subhanahu wa ta'ala said, نَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. I am closer to Him than your jugular vein. That means I am closer to you than your own self, in His might, in His authority, in His knowledge, in His power. However, Ar-Rahman ala al-Arsh istawa. Allah Azza wa Jalla ascended His throne over the seven heavens. Surah Al-Taha, Surah number 20, I think verse number 5. So, fact remains that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to do justice, and in addition to that, do ihsan, to do good, because He is watching over you. Now the point of the discussion today is justice. This is a rare commodity in today's world. In today's world, this is a rare, scarce commodity. Why? Because justice is nowhere around. Whether in a private life, in a social life, in a political life, in a government stage, in a community stage, nowhere there is justice. Nowhere there is justice, and we are part of injustice. Either we are doing it, supporting it, or being silent about it. Any form of fashion, we are guilty of some level. We ask Allah's protection from our own self. Now, because this is Khutbat al-Hajj, also say, نَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ شُرُورِ أَنفُسِنَا. We are guilty of many crimes, and we are our worst enemies. So therefore, we should be protective against our own self. Fine. So the point here is, Allah said, Allah has commanded us to just do justice. Now if you look, the fact is, if you don't like someone, you want to do justice on them. Because you want to get your revenge under the cover of justice. If you happen to be a judge, you don't like someone, you're going to get, this is your day. You're going to make it. You're going to even it out. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, that is not justice. Justice comes to play when it's against your own self. If something comes about and you speak the truth, it happened to be against your own self, you do so. And this is Islam. This is Islam. Islam is the embodiment of truth and justice. We don't practice it. Fact remains, Islam is embodiment of truth and justice. And nobody can deny that. You may not like me as a person, the principle I'm supposed to be working for, that is right. But I happen to be wrong. So I am not a manifestation of the deen, even though hopefully I'm trying my best to do so. But deen is judged by the principles of it, which is in the book of Allah and the sunnah of sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Anything else besides that, statement of Muhammad and Fatima, it is irrelevant if it is not consistent with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the sunnah of sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Having said that, Allah has commanded us to do justice. It is not against your own self, one of the people whom you love. It is difficult to do justice against someone whom you love. If your own son happened to be stealing something and you are in a position to pass judgment, it is difficult to give your son a sentence of 5 years in the prison. It is difficult. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, even if it is your close relatives, make sure you exercise justice. Now, another dimension to this ayah where Allah said, أَيَّكُنْ غَنِيًّا أَوْ فَقِيرًا. If the person is rich or poor, rich, dominant, powerful, is difficult to do something because you're worried about the backlash of it. So in that case, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, even the person is rich, you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even though if the person is rich, you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you do justice fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He has more right. He has more right on justice than anybody else subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَا تَخُوفُهُمْ وَخُوفُونِي. It is proper, it is more just, it is more appropriate to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than fearing somebody else. And He is the Lord of the world, He has a right to be such. And He says, even the person is rich, powerful, has a lot of clout, still, He speaks the truth and justice in front of that person. Now what is the other part? أَيَّكُنْ غَنِيًّا أَوْ فَقِيرًا. What if the person is poor? When the person is poor, weak, or old, or sick, then you're inclined to show mercy. You're inclined to show mercy. It's not the fear factor here. Now the pity, the compassion. You may withhold justice out of that. But Allah says, if the person is weak or poor, even in that case apply justice. This is so comprehensive, as Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala said, this is the most comprehensive verse in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah said apply justice. أَيَّكُونُ غَنِيًّا أَوْ فَقِيرًا فَاللَّهُ أَوْلَى بِهِمَا فَلَا تَتَّبُوا الْهَوَىٰ أَنْ تَعْدِلُوا. Allah said that Allah has more right. Allah will take care of them. Allah is in charge of them. So do not worry about their well-being. When you exercise justice, it is their well-being in this dunya and hereafter. It is the well-being of the community where you live in. It is the well-being of the entire nation and the world. Because the world consists of people. And you and I are people. And communities make society. Societies make towns and cities and states and countries and the whole world. So we are the building block. If you exercise justice in every walks of life, that's very difficult by the way, but if we do so, the whole world will be a different place. Why it is not a different place? Because we are doing otherwise. Proof Allah Azza wa Jalla speaks in Quran. Surah Ar-Rum, Surah number 30, Allah says, ظَهَرَ الْفَسَادَ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِي النَّاسِ لِيُذِيقَهُمْ بَعْدَ الَّذِي عَمِلُوا لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. Allah said, fasad, the calamities, the problems, pain and suffering of people across the globe. On the sea, on the land, everywhere. Why? People has earned this by their own hand. Allah doesn't do injustice. Inna Allah laysa bidhallamin lil abid. Allah never does injustice to His servant. So if I am in a jam, I earned it. I earned it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says Allah forgives most of it. What you get, then perhaps Allah knows the best, maybe 0.01%. What you're supposed to get. So therefore Allah been already so kind. Inna Allah dhu fadlin ala nas. Allah shows so much favor. Walakin aksar an-nas la yashkurun. People are ungrateful to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Therefore, now we need to think where we are, what club we belong to, what should be our ultimate destiny, the way we continue our life. Many people blame others, rightfully so. Many calamities across the Muslim world and everywhere else. People are suffering left and right. Whatever I say today doesn't negate the fact people who are doing injustice, they're wrong. But on the other side, we are doing many wrong ourselves. We are bringing these things upon ourselves without negating the fact these people are doing injustice. But we are also doing injustice among ourselves, among other people, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which I'm going to touch later on. So the point to discuss here, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to do justice. So Allah said again, to conclude this section, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the believers, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, كونوا قوامين بالقسط شهداء لله ولا على أنفسكم أو الوالدين والأقربين أن يكون غنيا أو فقيرا. If the person is rich or poor, your parents whom you love, the person whom you do not love, or even against yourself, speak the truth and exercise justice. If you do so, peace will come in this earth, in a personal life and in communal life. And Allah speaks the truth. Allah said, وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا. Who speaks more truth than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Nobody does. Therefore, what Allah spoke, apparently I may not understand the depth of it, but whatever Allah spoke, this is truth, and He does justice. And in addition to justice, He does ihsan subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He commanded us to do so. For example, ihsan, that Allah said, don't do such and such, I'm doing it every week. May Allah forgive me. But Allah, if He put me into task, if He takes me into account on the spot, I'll be gone a long time ago. And Allah has extended favor, extended ihsan to me. Likewise, we should be doing to others. So, now if we look at the world, across the globe, especially Muslim world, that what we do today, our practice today is, if Muhammad, a poor person, does something, we put the full extent of the law, put on the person. The person whom I like, whom I love, the person of power and nobility, we let him go. Similar thing happened in the past, because we nothing but human. Time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a noble lady from Bani Makhzum, she stole something. In those days, a tribal society, nobility is a big thing. Money is also important, but nobility, what clan, what tribe you're from, that means a lot. And that lady from a noble society, noble family, stole something. And the law of Allah has to be applied on them. That was difficult for the society. It's an embarrassment for this community. What they can do about it? Nobody can dare to go to Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and tell him that, can we cut some corners? It doesn't work this way. They're worried and concerned. At the same time, they don't have the guts to go to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and intercede on her behalf. So they found the right person for it. Hussain bin Zayd radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was the son of the adopted son of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Zayd bin Haris. He was a teenager at those times, because he was born about 7 years before Hijrah. So he was about, like, for example, 14, 15. When Rasulullah died, he was about 18 years old. So he's a teenager. A teenager. Our teenagers walk around, don't do anything. They're just playing around. A teenager. He comes to Rasulullah and trying to say something on behalf of this noble lady. He said, can we do something about it? Maybe, without applying the law, penalize her $100,000 or something. Without applying the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Cutting corners. Trying to be lenient on the person. Prophet ﷺ, hearing that, he got furious. He got furious. Now, everybody get upset, nothing new about it. So you may say, what's so special about he getting furious? Why am I insisting on that? Because when Rasulullah ﷺ went to Taif to give da'wah to the people, these are the same people who stoned him, chased him. He ran over 2 miles to protect him from their oppression. And he was helpless, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But he did not get furious. He did not raise his hand against them. He made dua for them. This is the same person was physically abused and hurt. But for his personal thing, he let it go. As a matter of fact, he made dua for them, so may Allah forgive them, guide them to the religion. And the same person got furious, not because of personal issues, but the issue with Allah's deen. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam got furious about it. And he told Hussain, you mean to tell me you are interceding on behalf of somebody against the law of Allah? You really mean that? You really mean it? He Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam got furious, stood up. It's not that, okay, don't do it, go home. He didn't say that. He stood up and gave a lecture on this stuff. Because to make an example for the people like today, we, 1400 years later, reflect on this. Our lecture, given 1400 years ago, been reflected upon 1400 years later. And that's why he, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, did it, because he's the Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He said, إِنَّمَا أَهْلَكَ الَّذِينَ قَبْلَكُمْ أنهم كانوا إذا سرق فيهم الشريف تركه إذا سرق فيهم الضعيف أقوم عليه الحد وأيم الله لو أن فاطمة بنت محمد سرقت لقطعت يدها أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم رواه البخاري ومسلم. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that people before you in the past, nations before you, they used to do this. When a rich among them, a famous and powerful among them does something wrong, they do not apply the law of Allah. They let them go. They find loopholes and let them slide. And when among them the poor, the du'afa, the weak, they do something wrong, they apply the fullest extent of the law upon them. Then he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, did not give some principles, some theories there. He gave an example, instant of that. He said, Waymullah, I swear by Allah, Azza wa Jalla, Lord of the universe, I swear by Allah, if my daughter Fatima bint Muhammad, if she does steal something, I will apply the law upon her also. Kama qal sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is phenomenal statement. This is just not cheap talk. This is not dry talk. You're talking about action here. And this deen is about action, not about talk. With a lot of talk, no action. As I say, a lot of thunder, no rain, it doesn't do any good except making noise. A Muslim need to practice. Starting with myself, I ask Allah's forgiveness for it. Starting with myself. First, we have to try hard. Because if you do not do justice today, Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah is going to deliver justice. It's better be here than there. Isn't that clear? It is better be here than there. So we need to ask ourselves, what are we doing? Whom are we trying to please? Whom do we fear? What's our objective in this life? We need to think about it. Now what I talked about all this, I talked about penal law. I talked about penal law, right? Criminal laws. That's what I talked about all this time, right? What about other part of social life? Nu'man ibn Bashir radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. This hadith came in Bukhari and Muslim also. Nu'man ibn Bashir came to Rasul. Nu'man ibn Bashir, father, took him to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he had a gift with him. So he said to sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Nu'man that I gave Nu'man a gift. This hadith came in various sanad and matan, various narration through various chains. Some of them say he gave his a gift as a slave and as a toy, so on and so forth. What is the bottom line? This person came to Rasulullah with his little child, and he gave a gift to this little child. That's the bottom line. The Rasulullah inquired that, did you give your other children a gift likewise? He answered, no. He said, I gave to this kid only, not to the other kid. Rasulullah said, ittaqullah i'dilu fi awladikum. Another hadith, ittaqullah i'dilu bayna awladikum, kama qala sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Fear Allah, be just among your children. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that from top of the law, of the state level law, coming down to the family laws? Saying among your children when you give gift, you have to be meticulously detailed about it. That am I doing justice? When I buy this to this kid, am I doing likewise to other kid? Islam is so detailed. Allah has covered every walks of life. Salman al-Farsi radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, قَدْ عَلَّمْنَا كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَتَّى الْخَرَأَ, that we've been taught every single detail of our life, including how to go to the restroom. And this deen is complete. This deen is complete. Having a complete deen, where Muslims are seeking guidance from? Somewhere else. Ajib. It is like Muslims have gone blind. They lost their direction. Where are you going? Allah said, فَأَيْنَ تَذْهَبُونَ? Where are people heading to? The problem of Muslims today, they lost their direction. When somebody lost their direction, no matter how fast or slow you drive, you're just going wrong and wrong. Further you go, you just derail. So Muslims need to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah said, come back. Allah said, come back with the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Udkhulu fisilmi kafa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, come back to the religion 100%. Not 99, not 28, not 25%. What can you do? It is so difficult. It is difficult. Paradise was never so easy and never so cheap. Easy. So want to get something forever. You want to enjoy forever. The rest of your life. From the life you end here, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, after that you go. Rest of the eternity you enjoy. Have fun. Allah said, فَلَا تَعْلَمُ نَفْسٌ مَا أُخْفِيَ لَهُم مِّن قُرَّةِ عَيْنٍ. Allah said, people do not know what Allah left for them in the paradise, for them. The beauty, the pleasure, the enjoyment, no mind can ever think of. No eyes ever seen, even a picture of it. So therefore it is so exciting, so entertaining, so pleasing. But will you be patient until then? Allah said, أَتَصْبِرُونَ وَكَانَ رَبُّكَ بَصِيرًا. Will you be patient until that time? So you meet Allah, the Lord of the world, day of judgment. That time Allah takes you to paradise. Will you be patient until then? That is the message. Then Muslims need to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, apply justice in every walks of life. Now since I talk about family, another aspect I also have to say. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always cautioned us about doing injustice, which is the opposite of justice, obvious. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about relation between husband and wife, Allah said, وَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا فَوَاحِدٌ. If you are concerned about doing justice, or you fear that you may do injustice among your wives, then stay with one wife. Regardless one wife, two wives, that's beside the point. Point is, Allah said, وَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا. If you fear that you cannot deliver justice, do such way that you can apply justice. The again point is about justice. In a social, in criminal law, in family law, with children, Allah talks about justice. And this is the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now what about the parents? I talked about children. If the parents are non-Muslim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِنْ جَاهَدَكَ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِهِ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. Even though your parents, perhaps they are non-Muslim, if they tell you to do something wrong, improper, injustice, shirk, haram, or bid'ah, whatnot, don't do that. Respectfully decline, but be kind and nice with them. Apply justice. If they say wrong, you don't do see wrong other way around. Allah says, idfa' billati hiya ahsan wa jadilhum billati hiya ahsan. You argue with somebody, give the best of yours. We're Muslim. We should have husnul khuluq, a good character. We apply justice. Somebody spit at you saying you Muslims are crazy. I said that it appears to me you were the one acting crazy, spitting on me. I'm not doing otherwise. Right? If 10 people see out there in the street, they see that. We're Muslim. We are better. For example, if a dog runs at you and bites you at your ankle, you're not going to go bite back the dog on his ankle. You are better than that. A Muslim, you're better than that because you follow sallallahu alaihi wasallam. At least we're supposed to follow him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The bad part is this: Muslim has many examples beside the right example. Allah said, for you the best example is وَلَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. For you the best example is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And who are you following? Everybody else beside Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And what is the result? Look at where we are today. Period. There's no further discussion in this topic. Where we are today, we earned it. لَهَا مَا كَسَبَتْ وَعَلَيْهَا مَا اكْتَسَبَتْ. What you got, you earned it, nobody else. So we need to be cautious about ourselves. What are we heading to? What are the right of the neighbors? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one day, Jibril came to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Jibril alayhi salatu wasallam was insisting on the right of the neighbor. On the rights of the neighbor. Rights of the neighbor. Your neighbor, John, Smith, Christina, your neighbor. Rights of the neighbor. He was concerned, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that they will be given the rights of inheritance, per se. Meaning that he was insisting so much of the importance of being nice to your neighbor. And the Muslim dawah, you come to the microphone, give a lot of passionate talk, it dies out by the time you get out the door. But if you have something, take away a message in home, apply in yourself, and spread it to others, that lives a long time. So it is not the talk, it's the action that comes. The Muslim need to be a people of action. Today, in today's world, having internet, some way it could be a blessing, it could be an absolute waste of time. Depends how people use it. YouTube, a server for millions of videos. Some Muslims spend hours listening to lectures. You listen to one, apply one, then go to the next level. If you buy 5 cheeseburgers, you can't even eat one. What are you buying all of them for? You listen to so many lectures, you're not applying any of them. What is the point? This is a collection of information. Collection of information is very important. Applying the information to life, bring an output out of the input of information, that is what it means. Fine. as a Muslim today, we need to think that we are obligated to apply justice. If you don't do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do justice. Having said that, I have to say what Allah said about Himself. Allah commanded to others what He said about Himself. Ya ibadi, inni haramtu dhulma ala nafsi. O my servants, I made injustice haram for myself. Allah makes haram things for His servants. Allah makes things haram for Himself. Allah says, inni haramtu dhulma ala nafsi. I made injustice haram for myself. وَجَعَلْتُهُ بَيْنَكُمْ مُحَرَّمًا فَلَا تَظَالَمُوا. أخرجه Imam al-Muslim. كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, this hadith came in Muslim, this hadith is Qudsi, when Allah Himself says that I made injustice haram, unlawful for myself, and therefore also made unlawful among yourselves. فَلَا تَظَالَمُوا. Do not do injustice among yourselves. Many Muslims do business. Many Muslims do business, and their business trade, they deceive other people just to make few extra dollars. Just to make few extra dollars. Allah musta'an. Whom are you deceiving? And in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, man ghashya falaysa minni, kama qala sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Whoever deceives other is not among us. I mean, person is, inshallah, is a Muslim, but a deficient one. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, if you deceive, a Muslim, a master of deception. Muslims are master of deception. End of the day, if you try to deceive Allah Azza wa Jal, whom are you deceiving? Nothing but yourself, nobody but yourself. So we need to be cautious exactly what are we heading to. Now, I talked about justice of many layers. What about to the animals? You got the society we live in. It is the 21st century society. You talk about Stone Age, it's not going to cut it. You need to come to be relevant in the society we live in. So let's talk about animal rights, because many people jump up and down about animal rights. I am for it also. But I'm more about human rights than the animal rights. Because the thousands of Muslims murdered everywhere, it doesn't count. Because these are head counts. A bird dies, which is also sad. That counts. This is pathetic. This is lack of intelligence. The faculty is failing people. What is the mind of the people? Allah made superior. Mankind is superior over the animal because their ability to think and analyze and process information and come to perhaps a good conclusion based on the given premise. Because we, inshallah, is supposed to be intelligent. Human, Allah gave faculty. Animals, that's why with an elephant with that mass and weight and this huge body, mankind, this little is dominant over the animal because Allah gave you intelligence. But the intelligence of overpowering others, no, that's not the only case intelligence applies. Intelligence applies to your own self. We need to think. We need to think about the animal rights also. But I need to point this out again. Animals are important. Everything. Even trees and plants are important. We do not destroy things unless there's a need for it. Like, you don't just kill animals in a hunting, go for hunting and just kill and leave it there. You can hunt animal if you want to eat it. Yes. Every life is sacred. Everything is important. There is no way destroying things. Muslims are very conservative people in terms of protecting. You talk about environment, we are likewise. Talk about animal rights, yes we are. Talk about human rights, we are. But we start with a priority. Human come first, then so on and so forth. Right? So, animal rights. You know the hadith, long story from the past that Rasulullah narrated. I think that people of Bani Israel, if I'm not mistaken, that one lady, she was an evil lady, and she happened to help a dog drink water, so on and so forth. Allah forgive her sin. And a so-called pious lady oppressed a cat or some kind of animal and ended up dying without food and starvation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala threw her in the hellfire because of her evil deed. So Islam is way ahead of the game about right of the animals. So what right we don't have? But that's beside the point. I'm not going to come to animals when I say people aren't eating. It's obviously, I'll prioritize things. Right? So, as a Muslim, we are about justice. Not only justice, we are about kindness and forgiveness. Many people don't know this. This Islam is harsh. Islam has laws, but it promotes forgiveness. If you forgive, and you forgive and forget, Allah says, ذَلِكَ أَقْرَبُ التَّقْوَى. This is closer to piety. Then forgive and forget. Somebody punch you once, you have a right to punch him back. But you forgive for the sake of Allah, you are a better person. Islam promotes forgiveness, harmony, social justice. But a society can run only on love and preaching. It has to have a form of system and justice. Which country in the world doesn't have laws and regulations? How can a system run with rules and policies? It will be chaos. For example, in the traffic light, there is no light. You drive as you please. Within 15 seconds, you have 20 car accidents. 20 car accidents because there have to be rules and policies. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave rules and policies you can apply. But certain case, when your right is at stake, if you forgive someone, Allah said that's better for you. Even though you have right to claim back your right. You have right to a justice, but extended forgiveness is better. Inna Allah ya'muru bil-'adl wal-ihsan. Allah has commanded us to do justice. However, He also said, extend your kindness and mercy to others. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to do such. Forgive our sins and forgive our shortcomings. One of the things in Yawm al-Jum'ah, that from the Sunnah of Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, there is a time, there is an hour, a time window when Allah accepts all the dua. Yawm al-Jum'ah, there is a time window when Allah accepts all the dua. What is the time? There is a difference of opinion in this regard. However, the most two dominant opinions are between Asr and Maghrib, that time, or from the time Imam comes to the masjid starting the Jum'ah till the end of it. But when the Imam starts the khutbah, it is not proper to somebody to make dua, do tasbih, reading Quran. He can't be doing that. So therefore, it appears to be, and Allah knows the best, perhaps when the Imam sits between the two khutbah, he has some time window to make dua that time. And also trying after Asr, we try to practice and promote this to others, to make dua for the Muslims who suffer from all across the world. And first making dua for ourselves. And I like to make a request also. Since I said that, I like to make a request. My father, Allahumma yarhamuhu, passed away last August. I was supposed to be here last August. I mean, 2 months ago, I couldn't make it. He passed away. Allah have mercy on him. I'm requesting everyone. It doesn't cost much. Only 10 seconds to make dua for him. Then Allah forgive him and give him Jannah, highest level of Jannah. Allahumma ighfir lahu warhamhu wa'afihi wa'fu anhu wa'afu anhu. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man wala. Talking about justice among the people, talked about parents, children, wife, neighbor, animal, trees. We talked about so many justice, in which Allah Azza wa Jal Himself has commanded so by the way. And He made injustice haram for Himself also. And He is asking the people, Alaysa Allahu bi ahkamil hakimin. Is not that Allah, the Lord of the world, the most just one? Is He not? Asking. So He promotes justice. He orders justice. He encourages kindness. He Himself applied justice. He made for Himself haram injustice. He subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then may I ask this at conclusion now. That talking about justice of every walks of life, what about doing justice to Allah, the Lord of the world? Are we doing justice to Him? That is I want to ask myself. Am I doing justice to Him, the Lord of the worlds? He, one that created us. He's the one who created us. He is the one created us. He is the one give us food and drink. He gives the air. Imagine if you have to buy oxygen to breathe. If you have to buy it, imagine that. You'll be working 26 hours a day just to buy the oxygen, just to breathe. Forget about the food and car. Allah made it for free. Allah made it for free. If you have to buy the sunlight, imagine that. What will be the situation in the earth? Allah has favored without even telling you that. And we just took it for granted. And same Allah who has created us, who made the earth a place we can live in. As Allah said, الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ الْأَرْضَ فِرَاشًا وَالسَّمَاءَ بِنَاءً وَأَنزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً فَأَخْرَجَ بِهِ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ رِزْقًا لَكُمْ فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Allah is the one leveled the earth for you so you can live in there. And He brought rain from the heaven so vegetation grows, you can eat from it. When you're in a drought, you're worried how you're going to survive. What would be next year? Allah made it easy on us. In return, what we have done? We've done nothing but injustice to the Lord of the worlds. We have done nothing but injustice to the Lord of the worlds. And He Himself promotes justice on His creation, subhanahu wa ta'ala. How to do injustice? Muslims today got it too easy and forgets where they come from. Muslims forget the situation across the world, what is happening. It may be your case and my case tomorrow. Just be careful what we're doing, because Allah is not unaware what's going around. Allah is not unaware. He's the last one not being aware what's going on. He's the last one, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at the Muslims today indulging, subhanallah, so many forms of haram. I heard Muslims say 5% of the Muslims don't even pray. That's what I heard from somebody. I didn't do the homework, but I'm making an assessment based on general understanding. They say 5% of the people do not pray 5 times a day. You do not pray 5 times a day. So what makes you Muslim? Muslim do not pray. Don't know what Allah is, what the Prophet is, what the Sunnah is, what the Quran is. So what makes somebody Muslim? The name? Since when? Name is just a convention. What matters what is within the heart of the person. Many Muslim countries, Arab countries, Muslims are born with Arabic names. Arabic name doesn't mean anything. It is the action that counts, supported by the proper belief. So are you a Muslim? If I am, what makes me a Muslim? What is the criteria for me? Muslim today, Allahu Musta'an, I travel a lot. I saw some, regardless of a lady passing by, and suddenly I understood by some indication the person happened to be a Muslim. I looked at her, I felt like crying in the street. Allahu Musta'an, may Allah forgive me first. I looked at her, I almost broke into tears. I said, this is the situation of the Ummah of Muhammad. These are the people, Fatima. These are the name of Aisha. This is the name. This is embodiment of the name of Fatima. This is the manifestation of Aisha. This is Abdullah ibn Zubayr. Is this Abdullah ibn Umar? Can this be the case? Where are their parents? What happened to them? Are they dead? Who failed them like this? Who is responsible for them? Day of judgment from Allah. I need to conclude with this. عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كلكم راع كلكم مسؤول عن رعيته كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. All of you are in charge of something. And Allah will ask us in Day of Judgment about the thing we're in charge of. For example, I have a little child. I'll be asked what you have done with him. Besides sending him to medical school in Columbia and MIT and Ivy League school, besides that, what you have done? You're not the only one sending him to that school. The school is full of people. As a Muslim, what difference did you make in the life of the child and the life of others? What have you done in front of Allah Day of Judgment? What can I answer to Allah that day? We need to think. We're too obsessed with short-term gain. Okay, you're going to have a big house. I got it. You have a big car, fast car. I got it. Then you're going to retire, go to Florida. Okay, I got it then. Then you're 95 years old. Then what? Then what's going to happen to you? Where are you going to go after that? How are you going to end one day? Florida is going to end one day. So we need to think now, what is going to happen to us? Time has come to Muslim need to think. So another announcement I'd like to make. The masjid is in short in donation. I would advise to announce that brothers and sisters to support the masjid because they're in dire need. They have a lot of expenses in the heart of Manhattan, as you can imagine, the various cost factors associated with that. So inshallah, try to support the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is not in need of support, whereas when you support the house of Allah, we're supporting ourselves. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا واسرافنا في امرنا وثبت اقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم احسن عاقبتنا في الامور كلها واجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الاخره. اللهم رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. اللهم ربنا هب لنا من ازواجنا وذرياتنا قرة عين واجعلنا للمتقين اماما. Also please make dua for the Muslim brothers suffering across the globe. In sincere dua, inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us.